My wonderful, beautiful, amazing Pisces. I'm Gabriella from Gabriella's Vampire Tarot. For today, I'm going to be doing your general reading, your past, present, future, your 9-card spread. I'm going to be using the regular tarot deck, clarify with the vampire deck, draw a special vampire card, draw a vampire oracle, and then draw 3 yes and no answers for thee. So anyway, let's get started on your reading. Okay. The general card is the Two of Wands reversed. Let's look at the first row, which is also your past. Okay, you start off with 5 of Wands, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius energy, internal conflict, and maybe some competition. King of Pentacles, Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo energy. And more fire energy with the 3 of Wands of outgoingness or going out on this journey. You know what I saw? You pretty much, probably had a bit of a competition or some kind of competitive streak. Everything worked out in your favor because you got abundance, you got, confidence, clarity, realistic ideas, and this actual rational thinking. And it pretty much enhanced this moment of wanting to get out with the 3 of Wands. Fabulous. It's like I'm kind of getting, the sense of that, you pretty much overcame some kind of obstacle or maybe some kind of challenge of some kind. And here you are pretty much just basking in abundance. Everything is just working out. You're probably a rich individual. Maybe you just had to, compete, or maybe there was a bit of like some kind of problems or something that took place. But everything was just working out, and it enhanced your confidence to want to get out into this world. Well, if we look at current times, you do get the 8 of Cups reversed. 3 of Swords, one of the cards I pulled for the vampire. And then you get the Knight of Swords reversed. Okay. Why are you going back? It looks like that everything was just working out, but what is definitely holding you back? And why would you be suffering from heartbreak and feeling kind of like you're directionless, lost, dazed, confused, and stuck? Well, the thing is, it's like you don't have to actually be literally going back to the past, but you could metaphorically, in the sense of looking back at the past. Maybe, it's like, well, you probably have some kind of like unfinished business, maybe some hidden resentment of some kind. Maybe that is what the 5 of Wands is all about. Maybe there's a bit of a conflict that you had with somebody, and now you're pretty much just thinking, I can't let go because I'm suffering in current times, and it's kind of causing me to, not be able to move forward because I feel so stuck and directionless, because heartbreak is just something that, not many people can really, recover or overcome that easily in other ways. Yeah, I know that feeling all too well in so many ways, so trust me on that one. But if we look at the future, okay, so, you're still in recovery process because you don't have a sense of fulfillment or happiness. You get 4 of Pentacles, maybe feeling a sense of comfort in other ways. And then you get 2 of Cups, one of your beautiful cards, in the sense of either partnership, your senses and clarity are pretty much are there for you, but either way, there's somebody who's probably going to be, maybe some future contract of some kind. I mean, maybe there was something that took place. Maybe you applied for some kind of job and it just didn't work out in your favor, but here you're going to be offered something way better, maybe of equal or greater value in the future as well. Because, I mean, of course, you could also have more water placements. You could have more earth placements, air placements, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra as well. Because for 5 of Wands, okay, you got Death. So, this is kind of like actually the second card that I pulled for the vampire. But what I'm mostly getting here is, it's like this conflict or this competition sends you off into a rebirthing transition kind of renewal phase. Okay, I mean, the thing is, it's like what I've even told Libra. I mean, unless you even know a Libra, have a friend, family member, whoever, or maybe have Libra placements. Because Libra was also entering into like this new phase, and they were kind of also a bit uncertain about, embracing this new self. So if you're somebody that's also kind of like, embracing this new beginning and stuff like that, okay, maybe it was actually, working in your favor. Maybe it was something that you still have to process, or maybe you had to process in the past and stuff like that. But it looks like that, yes, you suffered from some kind of problem, but it sent you off into this new transition phase. Because with the King of Cups, you got Three of Wands. Did we already get? Okay, the second Three of Wands. So this is where you pretty much just boarded this beautiful ship of opportunity. But of course, because you had abundance, you had security, you had stability, you pretty much probably were maybe still are an incredible rich individual in other ways. I mean, I know how Pisces are really good with money and stuff like that. But what love is okay. It's like, well, you probably entered into this new beginning. Maybe you did have to like struggle and suffer with a bit of like some Five of Wands conflict kind of situation, but that mostly also enhanced your confidence and your realistic and rational thinking of heading out towards new advancements of some kind in other ways as well. Because with the Three of Wands, you got the Daughter of Grails, which is like the Page of Cups. So, but mind you, is that if you pretty much had this kind of like daydream of some kind, okay, you pretty much had everything going for you, you had this transition, you entered into this new phase, you probably maybe got some kind of like bonus or maybe some kind of upgrade or maybe promotion of some kind, is that now you pretty much just think, okay, I have all this money, it's like, I hope you're not one of those individuals that love to go to those human casinos. I only, saw them from a distance, but I never went in, because I know the dark horrors of people that enjoy going to those things, because you end up losing your money, I think, right? Or I mean, unless you're one of those individuals that were lucky enough to actually achieve a real big outcome for that matter. But what I kind of see here is that you pretty much had this outgoingness, but you had a daydream. You wanted to actually start thinking about this kind of like idea child kind of thing. But the problem is that maybe that could have contributed to the Three of Swords, because maybe you didn't have the proper resources or the timing or whatever it could have been that contributed to this heartbreak in current times for that matter as well. Because for Eight of Cups reversed, okay, you got the Devil. Now the Devil, of course, is Capricorn, energy. You can have Capricorns, maybe your spouse, friend, family member, whoever is a Capricorn. But the Devil was kind of already, holding you back and causing you to actually, think, okay, it's like, because maybe, it's like you were pretty much heading off, towards this daydream, but the Devil was kind of holding you back and thinking, okay, I see that you're pretty much just craving and lusting and desiring this idea and stuff like that, but is it really going to be working and benefiting you in other ways? Because, this could also, in another aspect, the Devil is kind of also like a very sneaky deity in the sense that it could also maybe sometimes, give good advice in the sense by thinking, wait a second, I'm going to, kind of hold you back here because, you don't want to proceed with it as of yet. This could also maybe even be, your self-doubt as well. Lack of faith and self-doubt that's kind of holding you back and thinking, what, we're going to have to rethink this because somehow, it's like you had this beautiful idea child, but the problem is if you don't have the proper nutrients, vitamin sources, whatever it is to actually, watch this beautiful seed grow into this outcome, you'll end up suffering. Because the reason why you actually got heartbreak is because there was hesitation involved. You were actually holding back, and that's very, very difficult to actually process and deal with. It's like, let's say that you're in love with somebody and you see them from a distance and then, you know that there's nobody around. So all you have to do is just approach that person and you just think, I want to, I want to, show my love to this person. But then something was holding you back. Lack of faith, self-doubt, and you were pretty much just thinking, well, maybe, this is too soon, maybe it's not meant to be, because if I were to approach this person, what if they reject, laugh at me, do whatever? Because this is what was holding you back, was hesitation, and that is kind of what was actually causing heartbreak, is you realize that it was just an idea child and just an illusion. But it doesn't mean that it would never happen or that, but sometimes, it's like, it's always good to take risks because the worst thing that can happen is you can get rejected, refused, mocked, laughed at, ridiculed. I mean, of course, hopefully not in that aspect. But if you ever, think, well, nothing ventured is nothing gained, this is what could also be contributing to heartbreak as well. Thinking it was just a missed opportunity. Because with the Knight of Swords, you feel directionless, but then you get the Emperor. So you actually have this sense of authoritative feeling of thinking, we're not going to let anything stop us. Yes, we might feel a bit, uneasy. We might have been, caught up in some kind of like, whirlwind of some kind. But yet, when we still have this sense of strength within us that we're not going to let anything stop us in our tracks and path in other ways as well. So maybe, it's like, well, let's say that you have or you are suffering from a missed opportunity. And maybe, this was a beautiful job that you didn't proceed with. Maybe this was anything else that you just didn't proceed with. But yet, okay, this is you actually also coming to terms and thinking, okay, it's like, yes, we feel directionless, but it's not going to kill us. It's not going to end us in other ways. I mean, I'm sorry for even, with using the word kill. I would never use it in any other ways. But if you just think, oh goodness, because heartbreak is heartbreak in other ways. I mean, I had my heart just pretty much as broken, literally for that matter, and not metaphorically. Because even though in the future you might feel like there's no kind of happiness taking place, now what you get is Lord of Knives, is King of Swords. And what I'm kind of getting here is that, you might not have a sense of fulfillment, but you are actually kind of going back to the drawing board and to thinking, okay, maybe I have to try to find an alternative happy source or any kind of, euphoric feeling that, could be transpiring or taking place sometime. But this is also you thinking, okay, maybe we're not quite ready to approach, that lusty, desired, we'll daydream, because it's always good to have, dreams, thoughts, sensations, and feelings, and on so many levels. So please don't give up on any kind of those traits in any way. But, sometimes it's always good just to kind of hold back because you realize that, the timing may not be right. Maybe, you already started seeing this, the red flags, the warning signs, and stuff like that, and that was mostly holding you back. And it's always very painful when you actually have to let go of some beautiful idea, child, or daydream on so many levels. Because for the Four of Pentacles, you got Two of Pentacles. So in the future, you are going to be in a comfortable position, but you're also going to be juggling many responsibilities. So maybe, it's like having to let go of what you once, craved, lusted for, and desired. Okay, it's like, but sometimes, it's good to kind of let go of those dreams and desires. Like, for example, with me. When I was actually starting off, as being a vampire tarot, I came across hundreds of, let's say I'll name it hundreds of humans, that wanted to have a personal reading and whenever I actually did my readings as a vampire, I kept my, cards like this so people wouldn't be able to see my fangs. But, and the thing was, is that, I did actually, fall for, for a lot of humans back in my time and stuff like that. And then, it's like sometimes I would have these desired feelings of thinking, but what if I turned, so-and-so into a vampire? Or what if, I drank so-and-so's blood and it turned me back into human? But then, it's like I would actually have to hold back and to think, wait a second, Gabriella. And, those are unrealistic thoughts and stuff like that. And then that would just send me off into such a depression, unhappiness, sadness of thinking, will I ever be able to find true love? Will I ever be able to find somebody? Will I be able to turn somebody into a vampire? No, because that's not how things go. I mean, that's not, what I would wish for anybody for that matter. Even though a lot of the media portray vampires as these very beautiful, handsome, seductive, strong, powerful, rich individuals. But is that true? Most likely not, and especially not in my case. But anyway, I do see you actually in a more realistic future in that aspect. Because you are probably going to be offered maybe some kind of like offering, maybe a better work contract, maybe from, maybe a fellow water sign and maybe another Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio for that matter. And you're going to be taking off and heading off into that direction. So you're actually choosing an alternative route and direction, which is, important on so many levels because the thing is sometimes what you once, craved, desired, and lust for is pretty much not going to be benefiting you, but here you are actually making wiser decisions that's going to be benefiting you in the long run on so many levels. Mwah! I love that. Making wise decisions. Because your special card says Knight of Cups, you're definitely going to be getting some kind of offering coming up, and I can't say when, where, or how in any way, but I just think, well, this beautiful offering is going to be maybe a beautiful work contract, maybe you're going to be proposed by somebody, maybe, a fellow water sign, like I just mentioned, even with the Two of Cups for that matter. But there's definitely or maybe you're going to be the one who's going to be offering something to another water sign as well, or maybe to a different zodiac in other ways, but there's definitely some kind of offering taking place. Because Oracle wants to say courtesy, thoughtful, polite, and good manners. So, well, you're probably somebody who's very courteous, maybe somebody who's very thoughtful, polite, maybe has good manners. But being thoughtful is very important because if you can, think about different types of venues, different types of angles, directions, what have you, and so forth, and other ways, then that'll pretty much guide you towards a sense of clarity as well. With the Two of Cups, because this could also be your senses and intuition, that's also going to be guiding you off towards a different and way healthier and more beneficial path. And this is you heading off towards this towards, this, well, desired goal or outcome or whatever it may be. So, wow, what a fabulous reading. Okay, well, I'm going to finish off with 3 yes or no answers. Please feel free to pause this video and think about the questions you want answered. For 1, you get 10 of Pentacles reversed, which is a no answer. For 2, you get Knight of Pentacles upright, which is a yes answer. And for 3, you get Justice upright, which is another yes answer. So you get 1 no and 2 yeses in today's reading. Well, my beautiful, amazing, fabulous Pisces, I'm going to have to leave it at this for now. But if this reading resonated for you, please feel free to join and subscribe to my channel. I want to thank you all so much for joining me today. I love you guys incredibly. In a few days, I'm going back to love reading, so for now, I'm just doing general and love. But if you're open for a personal reading, I have this link with this price list on it called Project Page, and it's even on the tab of Project Page. But other than that, I love you guys incredibly. Thank you so much for joining me. But if you were to have a personal reading, all you have to do is subscribe to this channel and post in the little discussion box below that you want a personal reading from me, and I'll respond to you with my email. Other than that, I love you guys. Thank you so much for joining me, and best of luck on this beautiful transition phase.